All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to get into something really profound. It's just a single verse from the Quran, but wow, does it pack a punch. It uses these two incredible metaphors to break down that eternal struggle, the one between truth and falsehood. We're going to unpack these images piece by piece and see what they tell us, not just about the world, but about our own spiritual lives. Okay, so here's our game plan for this deep dive. We'll start with the divine parable itself. Then, we'll really get into the essence of what the verse calls haq, or truth. After that, we'll look at the flip side, the nature of batil, or falsehood. We'll explore the dynamic of their appearance, why things look the way they do. Then, we'll see how truth endures while falsehood vanishes. And finally, we'll bring it all home and talk about what this means for us as vessels of divine knowledge. So let's get into our first section, the divine parable. This whole discussion is centered on a verse that uses not one, but two parallel metaphors. And what's so brilliant about it is how it takes these really familiar scenes, things we can all picture from the natural world, to explain something much, much deeper about reality. Okay, let's just sit with this for a second. This is the verse we're going to be living in for this whole discussion. You see it, right? Two completely different scenes. The first is this epic rainstorm, water rushing down from the sky, filling up valleys, and all this foam churning on top of the torrent. The second is a blacksmith's forge or a goldsmith's workshop, fire and intense heat purifying metal, with all the gunk, the scum rising to the surface. But here's the kicker. They're both telling the exact same story about the relationship between truth and falsehood. And just so you know where we're getting this from, our entire deep dive is guided by this source right here, a detailed commentary, a tafsir on Surah Ar-Ra'd. We're essentially walking through this incredibly rich analysis to unpack all the layers of meaning packed into that single powerful verse. All right, next up, the essence of haq, or truth, which the verse portrays as water and pure metal. You see, to really get this parable, we've got to start with how the verse defines truth. And it's not some lofty, abstract idea. It's something real, something tangible and physical. So what is haq? Well, the commentary makes it crystal clear. It's not just a concept floating in your head. It's defined as something substantial, something that lasts, and most importantly, something that's beneficial. It has a real, objective existence and a clear purpose. This isn't just philosophy for the sake of philosophy. It's about a functional reality. And the verse uses two powerful images from the world around us to make that point. And here are those two images. First, truth is like water. Think about it. Water is absolutely essential. It's life-giving. It flows, it has depth, and it fills up the earth. It's the very foundation for growth. Then, the second metaphor. Truth is like pure metals, gold, silver, the good stuff. These things have inherent value, right? You can make beautiful jewelry or useful tools out of them. They are solid, they are real, and they endure. Okay, so we've got a handle on the solid, beneficial nature of truth. Now, let's look at its opposite, the nature of batil, or falsehood, which the verse shows us as foam and dross. The picture it paints here is just as vivid, but it's a complete, stark contrast. So what exactly is batil? Well, the commentary explains it as basically everything that truth is not. It's superficial, it's temporary, and it's totally useless. The key idea here is that it lacks any real substance. And even more critically, it doesn't even have an independent existence. It's like a shadow or a byproduct. It needs something else to even appear. And the metaphors for this are just perfect. First, you have foam. The verse describes it as swelling foam. That word in Arabic, rabian, suggests something that puffs itself up, looks big and important. It's the most visible part of the river, isn't it? It's noisy. But what is it really? Just air bubbles. It's hollow and it's gone in a flash. Then you have dross, or scum. This is the gunk that floats to the top when you're melting down metal. It's the impurity, the waste that you have to scrape off and throw away. It is literally worthless. So let's just put this all side by side because the contrast is, well, it's everything. Truth has real substance, like water or metal. Falsehood, it's just foam and dross. Truth is deep and substantial. Falsehood is superficial and hollow. Truth lasts, it remains. Falsehood is temporary, it vanishes. Truth is beneficial, it's useful. Falsehood is useless, it gets discarded. But this last one is the real clincher. Truth is independent, it can stand on its own. Falsehood is parasitic, it literally cannot exist without a host. Okay, this brings us to a really important question. Maybe the question that this whole parable is designed to answer.
the dynamic of appearance, why falsehood seems to rise. I mean, if falsehood is so flimsy and hollow and useless, why does it so often look like it's winning? Why does it seem so powerful and so everywhere?
Yeah, if truth is like the deep, powerful water, why is all we see the foam on top? The genius of the parable is that it knows we're going to ask this. The water, the huck, is the real force, but it's flowing underneath. What grabs your attention? The churning, swelling foam. It makes all the noise, it's right there on the surface. And that's the whole trick of falsehood, isn't it? Its power is in its visibility.
And this is the central point the commentary drives home. Falsehood has absolutely no independent existence. Think about it. You can't have foam without the water. You can't have dross without the metal. Falsehood is a parasite. It has to latch onto some truth to even appear. It might be a distortion of the truth or a half-truth, but it's always riding on the coattails of the very reality it seeks to obscure.
The commentary doesn't just leave it there either. It connects this idea to other definitive parts of the Quran, like this verse from Surah Al-Isra, "For falsehood is ever bound to vanish." It's saying that the very nature of falsehood, its core identity, its DNA, is that it's fleeting. The Arabic word here, zahukan, is so powerful, it doesn't just mean it will disappear eventually. It means it's in the process of perishing from the very second it comes into existence. It's born to vanish.
So how does this happen? How does truth actually defeat falsehood? The commentary makes it clear that this isn't a passive process. It's not like truth just sits back and waits for falsehood to die out on its own. No, this is an active, powerful confrontation. Yeah, check out this imagery from another chapter. It says truth casts out or strikes falsehood, causing its brain to burst, and then it vanishes. I mean, wow. Truth is a force. It's described as something that is literally hurled at falsehood. And when that happens, falsehood just disintegrates. It has no structural integrity. The commentary explains that its brain, its core lie or central premise, is shattered. The whole thing just collapses into nothing because there was never anything real holding it up in the first place. This leads us right to the end game. Section 5, truth endures, falsehood vanishes. And this isn't just a hopeful prediction. The verse presents this as an inevitable outcome, like a law of physics. It's just the way things are. So let's look at the fate of the foam. The verse says, "As for the foam, it vanishes, being cast off." The Arabic word for cast off here, dufan, is so potent. It's not a gentle fading away. It means it's tossed aside, discarded like garbage. It's worthless, it's insignificant, and in the end it leaves absolutely no trace behind. And this is where that second metaphor, the smelting process, really shines. You can think of it as a parable for purification. First, you've got the raw ore, right? Truth and falsehood, all mixed together. You put it in the furnace, you heat it up. That fire represents the trials and tests of life. What does the fire do? It causes a separation. The impurities, the falsehood rise to the surface as dross. And what do you do with dross? You discard it. And what's left behind? The pure remnant, the valuable, beneficial metal, the truth. And then you have the complete opposite outcome for what is true and beneficial. The verse says, "But as for that which benefits the people, it remains on the earth." The water that soaks into the ground, the pure metal that gets forged into a tool, that stuff stays. The Arabic word yamkathu means to remain, to endure, to be stable. Truth isn't just a flash in the pan. It's the bedrock that's still there long after the storm is over and the furnace has gone cool. So, up to now, this has all been about these big cosmic principles. But now we get to what I think is the most powerful part of the analysis. We're going to turn this whole metaphor inward. Vessels of divine knowledge, the human application. What does all this talk of rain and valleys and water actually mean for us personally? This is where the focus completely shifts. It's no longer about the rain, it's about the valley. The commentary explains that the rain from the sky is divine knowledge, divine guidance, and it falls for everyone. But the valleys are our hearts and our minds. And just like valleys in the real world, some are deep and vast and some are shallow. Each heart can only absorb that divine rain according to its own unique capacity. And to really hammer this point home, the commentary brings in this incredible quote attributed to Imam Ali. Indeed, these hearts are vessels, so the best of them is the one with the most capacity for knowledge. See, the heart isn't just a passive thing that gets rained on, it's a vessel, a container, and its value, its quality, is all about its capacity, how much truth and wisdom and understanding it can actually hold.
This totally reframes our spiritual goal, doesn't it? It becomes about actively working to expand the capacity of our own hearts.
The analysis even breaks down these different types of vessels, these hearts. It points out that capacity isn't just one thing. For example, you might have a heart that's firm in its belief, but it doesn't have much deep understanding. Or the opposite, a heart that understands a lot intellectually, but isn't firm enough to put it into practice. And of course, there are hearts that have neither. The ideal vessel, the deep valley that this parable points to, is the heart that combines both. A deep, steadfast faith combined with profound, clear understanding. That's the heart that can truly benefit from the rain.
So this all leads to the big practical question, right? If our ability to benefit from truth is determined by our heart's capacity, then what is the most important job we have in life? It has to be increasing that capacity. So how do we do that? And the commentary leaves us with this powerful, direct command, Kunu awiyat al-ilm, be vessels of knowledge. This isn't just a nice suggestion. It's an active imperative. It's a call to action. It means we have to tirelessly work to become these vessels by seeking knowledge, by purifying our intentions, by putting what we know into practice, by reflecting deeply. All of these things are the tools we use to dig our inner valleys deeper, to make them wider so they can hold more and more of that life-giving rain. And so, in the end, the ultimate purpose is to become a person whose heart is a deep vessel for truth, not just some shallow surface where only foam can gather. And that's the final, piercing question this whole parable leaves us with, a question we have to ask ourselves. What kind of heart am I building? Is it a deep, fertile valley that can catch and hold the life-giving water of truth, letting it sink in and create something beneficial and lasting? Or is it just a hard, shallow surface where truth simply runs off, creating a lot of noisy, impressive-looking foam that disappears in an instant, leaving absolutely nothing of value behind? That choice, as the verse makes so clear,